Spring reverb. What do I got here? Okay, I was just curious.
Let me know when you're ready, Ryan.
I'm good when you are, brother.
There's bad radio, good radio, and chaotic radio. In that order.
The Black Lung. Black Lung. The Black Lung Show. The Black Lung. Black Lung. The Black Lung Show. The Black Lung. Black Lung. The Black Lung Show. The Black Lung. Black Lung. The Black Lung Show. And starting fucking now.
That's right. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on Chaotic Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Pena. I can't hear shit, B.
Can't on your headphones?
No, they just cut out. Yeah. That's how we're starting this show today.
Sweet.
There we go. I can hear you guys just fine. Yeah, there we go. All right. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
Got you.
Are we live on Facebook and YouTube?
We're live on both.
All right. We got to figure out how to do this again. Well,
Go to.
there's some dead air for you.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Should be
Like
screaming
good old
loud.
dead air.
Press, refresh it.
I have to do that every single time.
Yeah, and it should come out.
Let's see.
There you go.
There we are. All right. So if you guys are on YouTube, you can look at us and the my sexy guests. My guest this week are Patient Zero. I'm joining the studio as always. Sorry about that little hiccup there in the beginning. It's chaotic radio. What are you gonna do? You think after 4 years I'd get this shit straight? But anyway, B. Once again, thanks for coming in studio and help me out with the show as always. How have you been, man?
I've been good. Taking a nice vacation to make sure all this stuff in the studio is good for next week. So we'll be all right.
Where are you going next week?
Staying here and working.
You're staying here and working?
I'm not working the main job. I'm working this job.
All right. That's cool. I got a cool guest next week for you guys. Ho Dagger's coming in. Got a brand new EP from his new project, Mono Deluxe. Also was in Cell Block 5 back in the day. And was in the Mink Daggers, who I think just played last night, opening up for the Dead Boys over at Alex's Bar in Long Beach. Wish I could have been there for that show, but, you know, things happen. Anyway, thanks again for everybody for tuning in. As always, YouTube's going. If you want to type some questions for us in the band, you can go ahead and do it, and I'll try to see if I can keep up with it. Again, we're also streaming live on Facebook. You guys can say hello. At the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Black Lung Show. No, just Black Lung Show. And anyway, I'm just going to get right to it. Don't know how long we're going to go today, but we're just going to introduce our guest for this week. This is Patient Zero. And welcome in studio, guys. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us.
No worries. No worries. It's been a long time. This is a band that I've actually got to play with many, many moons ago. And so my first question is, where the fuck have you guys been?
We took a little hiatus for a little while, going between members and stuff. And then, we started playing again and things are going good, But yeah, we just took a little hiatus before and now we're back. It's like starting over again, but
yeah,
it's, things change quick.
The new and improved.
The new and improved. All right.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played with you guys was what? Got to be like almost 7 years ago.
Something probably like six years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. That's when I used to be in another band called the Prostitute Marys back in the day, a glam punk rock band.
Yeah, I remember.
I think that's what it was. And then I think we played at some place called Kim's Sports Bar.
It was like a little burger restaurant, like just like a fast food place. And the promoter like booked a show there, and then They
Booked
didn't
another
even.
show.
And booked another show like across the street.
Yeah, was that the other show and
That
not
conflict
ours?
of interest, you know.
Yeah, we ended up having to run the show ourselves.
Yeah, and the people who like owned the place didn't even know there was going to be a show or something.
Yeah,
They're like,
That's
I guess
right.
you can play.
yeah. And then we played with somebody else too, and I think they were pissed off.
I think it was a band that used to be called the Fancy Grins.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know them.
I don't think I
Yeah.
even. I don't think I even. I don't think I've interviewed them. Anyway, well, why don't we do this? Let's start off for everybody that's watching on Facebook and listening all over the place. Starting on my left, why don't you guys just introduce yourselves to the listening audience? Tell them your name and what you guys and what you play in the band.
I'm Joe Colvin. I play the upright bass and I sing.
My name's Gabriel Rodriguez. I play drums.
And Stephen Overmeyer for lead guitar.
All right. How long has this current lineup been together?
About a little over a year.
About January was a year for myself, and I was the last one to be. And I think Steven was in about 6 months
Before, yeah.
before.
Even
or
that
so.
time was a bit of a blur because we were still bouncing between members too, and I was new to the group at the time.
Yeah,
So
Finding members is hard.
Yeah.
it is.
It's like finding a relationship. It's like you got to find someone who like you get along with well, who gets along with your friends well, who you can introduce to your parents.
Well, I wouldn't recommend doing that with your band members. But,
yeah.
but anyway, so how did you guys? Well, you've been holding down the fort since day one, right?
Yeah. I started
This is
this
his
project years and years ago.
When did you actually start Patient Zero?
I think that like we started calling ourselves Patient Zero back in 2012, and then we probably played our first show back in 2013. So yeah, we've been around for a little bit, but I'm the only original members, and like in between there, like we've had a lot of like, breaks gone between a lot of people and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just like you start building momentum, and then suddenly drops out, and it's chaotic,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're at the right place.
Yeah.
You guys are listening to Chaotic Radio, and it's funny too because I've been interviewing a lot of bands over the years, and one of the things that we talk about, sometimes on air, sometimes off air while we're playing songs. Some of the best stuff actually comes in between the interview when you guys aren't listening. But you guys know I've been playing in bands for over 20 years, and that's always been like the hardest thing, even especially for me personally too, is finding members that are dedicated, that can actually play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that want to play. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Do you ever have members in the band that were just like, "Fuck, we got to play another show"? It's like, why did you join the band in the first place? Right?
Yeah.
You get guys like that, just like,
Yeah.
we're not getting paid. We got a shitty time spot. You got all that attitude. Is that kind of gone away, or do you guys still deal with that at all?
Well, I mean, that's just kind of how it is to be a musician nowadays. That's just the nature of the beast. It's easier for people to be musicians nowadays, but it's not as glorious as you would think. It's a lot.
Glory in it. You're talking about it's easier for the three of us, I think, because we like to play, and that's just the base of the fact is we just really like to fucking play.
Yeah.
We play together well enough to where we're actually getting somewhat of a following, I guess, and people know, I get for the most part, of who we are, or know our music at least.
Yeah.
Or recognize Joe or whoever, and it's just easier when nobody really is looking for, I guess, glory. It's just we want to be out there just to do it.
Yeah, we're just having fun with it,
That's cool.
it's easier just getting 3 work schedules all in the same room.
Yeah.
More members would be a pain in the ass, but
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. That's I think it's a lot easier not only with 3 schedules. I always joke and tell people like being in a band like being married to like 3 or 4 different people, right? Especially when you get a little bit older, like some of us. But especially when you have kids and you got work schedules and and trying to tour or just even play shows far away.
And every band member you add to that is like exponentially harder to get everybody scheduled together.
Right. Exactly. And then you were talking about like starting over. I mean, that's always been the toughest thing, right? Is that you get a little bit of momentum, you start playing some shows, you get some stuff recorded, get a little bit of merch, right? And then someone's like, you know what, fuck this, I quit. And then then the search goes over, and then instead of writing new music, you're practicing the same songs over and over and over again. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So how did you guys come up with the name Patience Zero? I'm always curious about how bands come up with their names because we were looking you guys up here a minute ago before we started the show, and there's a few others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, for our logo.
When I first like started calling us that, back in like 2012 or 2011. Well, I mean, it was even before that, but there was only a few of them, and like there was like some that were like the pages weren't very active, and I think there was like a DJ or something, but it wasn't like that big. And then ever since then, like now, like there's just a lot more.
Was
Yeah,
there
no,
some kind
so-
of horror origin?
Yeah, there's a
Too.
horror origin. Yeah, I'm just a big horror fan, so I've always loved horror movies, zombies, monsters, all that kind of stuff. So just that's my nerdiness coming out in the name.
That's great. No, you're at the right show. I've been a horror movie fan, my entire life.
Yeah.
The first horror movie I ever saw was John Carpenter's The Thing in the drive-in when I was fucking 5.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just holding on bare knuckles. But anyway, we're gonna be, this is an interview show, but I do want to play some music and get you guys familiar with Patient Zero. So let me try to figure a few things out here. Let's. You guys brought in a couple CDs. You got some new music, and I want to get to that later. I'm gonna start because it's kind of cool for me to listen to the like the origin of the band and see how far along you guys have come. So you guys have 2 CDs here. They don't have any titles on them or anything. What?
Or-
They might even be the same copy.
They might be the same
I do
copy.
apologize.
Might, yeah.
That's all right. Don't worry
We're
about
just
it.
adding just 1-2 songs at a time. That's just kind of
right.
accumulating as we go. So
All right.
there's no official.
So how old is this music that we're about to play right now?
If
a
that's the
complete-
first EP that came out in August
yeah.
of last year, we released it and we recorded that through IE Death. My buddy Joseph Gonzalez recorded us out at his place in Banning, and we released it over at the Vault in Redlands. Had a release party for it, and it was just a big hangout. Get all our friends together and hey, check out our shit. It did really well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put this. What the fuck? Oh, there's my Fang CD. I left it here from the last show. So I'm gonna put the CD in the player right now, and we'll see what pops up, and then we'll ask these guys some more questions. You're listening to the Black Lung Show.
Everywhere I go, it goes behind. When corn like this bitch, run away. Try everything away from my heart, my eyes. What I do, what I live, what I come to my life now. That's the way I present myself, my style, my demeanor, my way of life. I don't mind where I just be on my side. Well, I found my way. Well, I'm looking place called the I know from being a little rough. If I can be a word, maybe I can start. That's some fun, it's a cool bar. Do it.
All right, you're listening to the Black Lung Show live on Chaotic Radio. That was Patient Zero. I have no idea what that song was called. What was that song called?
Tear the World Apart.
Tear the World Apart. That's a good name for a song. Hey, and thanks for everybody. We're waving right now at Facebook.
Come on.
I'm trying to do 2 things at once here. It's not that easy. Well, 3 things at once. Watching the YouTube, watching the Facebook, and try to answer some questions. I have been really good at that. This is the first time this year that I've been trying to answer people's questions or ask you guys questions from the Facebook and from the YouTube. And because I like keeping eye contact and doing the interview that way. So somebody said something already. Dennis Tran, he says, get those guys signed. All right, well.
Hey, what's up, Dennis? Shout out to Dead Radio.
There
The
you
drummer
go.
for Dead Radio there.
Cool.
I booked a show. So there's a bar out in Highland called Candy's Bar. They're going to be going through a name change here shortly. But
you guys just played it last night, right?
we just played there last night. Helped my buddy Mike, band Two Buck Chuck. We booked a show there and had Dead Radio there. Going Under was another band from, I think they said Ontario. And Hoist the Colors. If you're not familiar with them, they are a bit of a bigger band from LA. They did a acoustic set. 2 of their guys, fiddle and accordion. The one guy played the 2 instruments, not at the same time, and a guitar player. And they did an acoustic set there, and we had a really good fucking time last night. All the bands were happy.
That was a
Everybody
great set on their part.
Oh yeah, they're fucking amazing musicians. But everybody had a really good time, and I'm looking forward to be booking more shows out there. So keep an eye open for that.
That's cool. I've only played one show there one time years and years ago. What's it? And back then they didn't even have a liquor. They only serve beer.
As of now, they're under new ownership. Ed and Janelle now own Candy's Bar, and they just recently got that liquor license. Probably didn't take effect. I think it took effect in January, but they didn't start serving till like the very end of the month, something like that. So now they've got liquor.
I've been looking into booking some more shows. I personally hate doing that. I haven't done that in a long time. Yeah. I like getting on bills and then leaving it at that because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, there was a time where I wanted to book shows and stuff, and I did it for a little bit, but yeah, it's a circus.
I'm getting my feet wet in that whole endeavor, but it's only for the one place. They've got the space to be able to throw the shows.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily have to go out of my way to find a venue, to find the bands, this, that, and try and figure out where the hell we're going to have the next show. I've got the spot, we've got the equipment to do so, and why not? If they want to come out to the IE and fucking play a show, let's do it. Have a good time.
I got a lot of bands that have been asking me, to book some shows out here in the Inland Empire. So if you're going to be doing that, I'll let you know because I got some bands coming from Washington on tour, and just more personal friends of mine, and a lot of bands. I joke around with the guys in my band all the time. Like I should have done this 20 fucking years ago, starting this radio show because I'm just meeting all these cool bands and making a lot of friends and connections and help. I help book shows now from bands by just kind of pushing them in the right direction because I don't like booking shows anymore.
Yeah.
It's
tough work.
It's a lot of work, and
it's what I'm finding. I don't have an official name for it because I'm still waiting for the name change to happen. So then I'll have a page for it and whatnot. But of it being, it's just a place to get my friends together to play or to meet bands that we've played with or the other promoters that put us on out in LA or whatever it may be. Shout out to Diabolic Events. They I get in contact with so many bands like, hey, would you guys want to come to the IE? And one of the things that I'm finding out is they're expending all the, not necessarily going through all the venues and they're getting tired of the scene, but everybody wants to come out to the Inland Empire because it's foreign.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. But then, I guess it depends on where you're from, right?
Exactly. Because if you're from the Inland Empire, you're tired of the Inland Empire.
Yeah. like us, we don't ever play here anymore. Really, it's always our next show's in Ventura, and then we're out in Hollywood.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess plus the Inland Empire, the scene's changed so much over the years. The venues all changed. So tell me about that. Because like I said, I've only played there once, and it's in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
It looks like it. It's right at the foothills in Highland, but it's just because of where it's at. It's right next to Norton Air Force Base,
right.
So it looks like you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. You're almost smack dab in San Bernardino.
I've always joked around that I've never stopped in because it always looked like it was going to be some From Dusk Till Dawn scene. Where
yes,
you just walk
there you go.
Because it's a little ways off the road, and it's just
What
like
the hell you
I
doing?
just felt like I was going to walk in and the doors were
Yeah,
closed
exactly.
behind me.
But then you walk in and there's a fucking sexy ass bartender. You're like, wait a minute. Like I was not expecting that at all. And the band Going Under that we had from Ontario, they'd never been out this way, and they were looking for the place. Like, where the fuck were we going?
Yeah, I can see I'd be sketchy driving up to it.
Right?
I'm like, oh no.
And then you see just a big sign with an arrow. It says
Oh, I
Candies
miss
on
it
it. Like,
every
wait a
time.
minute.
The
big
big turn
fucking-
every time we play there. Jeez, I still can't.
Yeah.
So is the venue is the stage outside still?
It's an outdoor stage, yeah. So
an outdoor
it's a
stage?
little square that they've got on that concrete patio that they've got, and it's a big backyard.
It's got like a cool like backyard feel
yeah,
to
and
it.
it
Yeah.
feels like you're just in someone's
Yeah.
backyard, but it's
Yeah.
huge, and the property is actually really big. So they've got plans eventually to take and extend that whole to the back wall to the fence line, which and it's actually kind of creepy. The building that's right behind the bar is a fucking crematorium.
Nice.
So if you're there really late and you see
Oh,
smokestacks,
is that what that smell is?
They just chose a new pope.
but they want to end up expanding the space and doing this and that. But this is again, it's just, I'm barely getting my feet wet in the whole promoting for the venue, and they've got the space to do it. We've got everything that we need to be able to do it. Why the hell not? Let's have fun. And the owners like music; they're way into it. I booked a few shows there. I did one of our first shows there, specifically in August, and had some bands from Redlands come out and play, and everybody had a good time.
What bands are those? I'm just like-
Was Burly Devil, What, and Ghost Captain from Redlands, and then ourselves. And that was one of the first shows that even with the new owners, they like kind of checked it out, and we brought all the equipment to do it. So they're like, oh yeah, we got the space, go ahead. They ended up doing well that night, and the owner Janelle, she was really excited, like, hey, this, like, thanks, like, appreciate it. Like, if you want to do more, let us know. More recently, I did a show on St. Patrick's Day and had Beecher.
Yeah.
They're a 3-piece folk punk band. I had, who the hell else? The Endorphins from Hemet, the Osteoblast from Simi Valley, the Neglected Few from Rialto, and I don't think I'm missing anybody, and us. And that did well enough to where they realized, like, hey, we should start trying to throw shows here more often. And it was a whole day thing because it was St. Patrick's Day. They had food and beer and a truck out back with a tap trailer, pouring beer and this and that. Like, it's just a lot of fun.
Wow. You named a bunch of bands, and I don't recognize one, except for Beecher. I've interviewed them. Those guys are cool. I like them.
Yeah, these handful of cats that we've played with here and there. Neglected Few, actually, this coming 8th of June. I've got a show booked there at Candy's Bar for, Neglected Few are going to headline it, but 13 Past 13, they were an older band that disappeared for a long time. My buddy Phil, he plays guitar for them, and now they're going to come back. So it's essentially their return show. And then the opening act, I've got The Tail from San Diego. We played with them in Corona I don't remember when exactly that was, a few months back, but we played with them, and I really like their sound. Like, just, good old-fashioned punk rock. They're older cats, but they've got good energy, and hey, fuck it, come on out. And they're like, oh, we'd be more than happy. So I'll be releasing that event here, if not tonight, then tomorrow, from the Candies page. So just keep an eye open for that.
Well, you can just let me know, too, and then, I'll promote it here on the Black Lung Show through Chaotic Radio. I mean, that's no problem, man. That's the whole thing. Is that it's funny, I've been doing this show for almost 4 years, and I've had a lot of really, really cool bands in here. Some super famous, some not so much. First thing, I always like watching everyone's reaction as they walk into the studio, and they're just the same thing. They're always like, "Holy shit, this is for real!" Yeah, this is Chaotic Radio. You know, we're trying to build a name up. And even though it's been going for 4 years, it's still a slow process.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah,
And
just
consistency.
just like that. Yeah, and that's something that it's a little tough. This is a labor of love. I mean, I'm not making any money doing this, but I've done a lot of things over. I guess would I call it a career? My musical career, booking shows, managing bands, running a record label for a little while, helping other record labels. But basically now with this show is basically what I like doing is just introducing people all over the world. And we have people listening everywhere. So Victoria, I know you're listening in New York. Joy, I know you're listening in Texas. There's some people in England, listening. I don't know where everyone's at, but, God bless you. Thanks for listening in to the show. It's cool. And I like discovering new bands, and I love, sharing the music. I always joke on here that, you can't ever hear really good bands on like regular radio. It's like always, Metallica and Guns N' Roses on a fucking
Yeah.
loop. You know what I mean? Like Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
Journey.
Yeah,
I hate Guns N' Roses so much.
I stopped believing a long time ago. Don't tell me.
yeah.
Stop that shit. So
Remember,
anyway,
remember when that song was good?
When I was 6.
you guys. So yeah, I just want you guys to. I want you guys to get your music out there and let people listen. And then the same thing is like I'm interested. You named a bunch of bands, and I'm from the area, and I've never heard of them. So I want to go out there and see them. And if you guys, if you guys vouch for them and they're cool, because that's the one cool thing about having my own radio show is that I get to handpick the bands that I want to come in here. You know,
That's rad.
So if you guys want to send them my way, let me know.
Yeah, there's
And,
a lot of good little gems here in the IE. A lot of bands we played with are like really really good, and they have that passion behind them that
Great
you don't see
musicians.
from like
They got a great stage presence. They're just really solid bands.
yeah,
And
they're in
fun
it
to
for
listen to.
because they're passionate about it, not
Right.
because
Yeah.
they're making money. They want to play.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
can tell who's just a good band in a small town.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you start playing, either punk rock or psychobilly, and you think you're going to make money, you're doing the wrong fucking thing right out the
Yeah.
bat. There's none of us are making any money off this. I mean, there's only a handful of bands that make money off this or can actually live off this stuff.
Yeah,
But,
so, I mean,
yeah.
to make money, you really got to treat it like a business, And it kind of is a business. Oh, it is a business.
Selling ourselves like whores.
Yeah, and you got to promote yourselves. Like, what were you asking me? Like, what's my Instagram handle? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even have one of those things. I can
You
barely.
got to,
I can
man.
barely
You got to.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
2019.
Yeah.
When you talk about older cats, that's all my band is,
Yeah.
But and I want to get out to a lot more shows. Everyone is out punk rock bowling right now. I think mostly
Yeah.
everybody.
Yesterday.
We got our press passes a little late, brother. But next year, let's hit that shit up. I need to have a little bit more time. Like I said, I got kids, and I got a lot of them too. But
Everywhere.
well, my wife and I are foster parents, so we always get a bunch of kids, kind of rotating in through the system into our house. And so, in fact, what I was doing, because now I'm trying to live this new sober lifestyle, and I wasn't like a horrible drunk, but I like drinking beer like a little bit too much, and I was talking about it with Sam from Fang. Sam was in here last week, and this is it's different for me, So I went roller skating before. I swear to God, I was literally fucking roller skating with my wife and kids before I got here. That's where I drove up from a roller skating rink. I haven't roller skated in 30 years,
Fruit
man.
boots.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. But no, I won't say that. It was nice hanging out with the wife and kids, and they still play the same fucking music that they did when I was skating. You know what I mean? From the
Disco.
And there's that
Disco,
one
that's
really
70s.
old good guy that's like getting the fuck down.
Yeah. I hate that motherfucker.
What I'm hearing is we should do a takeover to punk rock skating.
That's not a bad idea,
It
man.
ended up turning into a pit on wheels.
Well, we could just roller derby that shit. You know what I mean?
There's
why-
a better
Hell
idea.
yeah.
right? Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And it was weird too because hey, there's Victoria. How you doing? Hey, we can see you. We're giving you a shout out earlier. Victoria's watching. I said my friend from New York always promotes the show. Love you. I love everyone that promotes the show. But yeah, it's weird, right? I just lost my train of thought. So I'm roller skating, and I didn't see this shit before, but all the little kids have these PVC pipes that they can actually hold onto with skating wheels so they can roll around. And I was looking, I was like, you know what? And this is what I'm starting to sound like that old man. Fucking back in the day, we didn't have that shit, right? I was expecting everyone to wear fucking helmets and have rubber padding around the whole thing. Like, fuck, dude, when we were kids, you just broke your shit, You just fall down and eat shit, Anyway, all right, let's play some more music before we keep talking about roller skating and all sorts of other weird ass shit. Let's see. This is your first one. What we played track 1, right?
Correct.
All right, this is track 2 off of your old EP. This is the Black Lung Show. You're listening to Patient Zero on Chaotic Radio. Wait. We're gonna try this again. We're having a problem with the cord. You hear that buzzing? All right. That's much better. Here you guys go.
Memories of potential enemies. Anyone who was
We're having a little bit of trouble with the auxiliary cord here on the CD player, so we're not going to do the CD thing anymore for a minute. That was another song by Patient Zero. Hello to everybody watching on Facebook. We're trying to keep you guys entertained. You can see people coming in and out, saying hi to Tyson, saying hi to Victoria, saying hi to everyone else. Clint, how you doing, buddy? This is weird. It's I'm actually interacting with the audience for the first time ever. It's a trip. It feels like I'm on stage again, which we haven't done in a little while. We got some shows we're gonna be promoting. Again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Anyone that's not at Punk Rock Bowling, like I said, real quick. I guess since it is my show, last week we were interviewing Sam from Fang. And he's been sober for a long time, so I'm working on that. I'm on 43 days sober. If you guys, thanks, man. You don't have to say that, dude. It's all right. But some people can drink, some people can't. And I'm learning that. Will I ever drink again? I'd lie to. I'll be honest. I love fucking drinking. I really, really do, and it's hard. Do you guys drink? Are you guys all right?
Yeah, I drink.
All right.
I stay away from alcohol. Or hard alcohol, but I drink beer.
Yeah, that's what I did. I've been,
It's like
hard
a soda,
alcohol,
but not.
Yeah, but anyway, so for anybody listening to the show that are having problems, I mean, just know that you're not alone out there. I mean, there's a lot of us out there, and there's been a lot of really cool musicians reaching out and talking about sobriety and stuff like that. Again, I don't like to get preachy. I mean, if you want to drink beer, you want to do drugs, do whatever the fuck you want. It's your world. But
Do you have any approach that you're taking, or are you just saying, hey,
Cold turkey?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've gone to a few meetings. I don't really like meetings though, man. My
Makes
buddy
you feel like an alcohol.
it makes me want to drink more, to be honest. You know what I mean? Or like, it's funny you ask that because people ask me that all the time. And some of the meetings that I've gone to, it's just like, I guess what would be cool, and my friend was talking about this, was that if I could actually hang out with other musicians and have people I could relate with. I heard there's some really cool meetings out in like Fullerton. A lot of friends from my friends from like D-Cry, the Cadillac Tramps, a lot of older cats that have been around for a little while. If I could go hang out and talk with them, but in San Bernardino, it's fucked up, man. It just, you hear some weird ass stories. My buddy Pat from Hated called me the other day, invited me to a meeting. And he was just like, Ryan, there's this guy talking about how he was having sex with dogs when he was younger and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't want to go to a meeting with that guy. He's like, oh, I love it, man. It's entertaining. I'm like, I'm not in it for the entertainment value.
You don't
man.
want to be lumped in with the dog sex guy.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, I got something I can relate to you. No, fuck you, dude. You fucking creep. Get the fuck away from
And
me.
it's always in a dumpy building behind a fucking liquor store.
It is too, right? Yeah.
I think you're at the wrong meeting, man.
I've got a few. Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if I was in Orange County or something, But anyway,
the animal sex meeting is down the street, man.
no shit, right? Get the fuck out of here, you creep. But I don't know, man. It's just for me, I don't want to. Like I said, I've been drinking for 27 years, and you don't think you have a problem until like your loved ones are just like, you know what, you're probably not going to live much longer if you don't fucking change your lifestyle. And I just love my wife and kids more than anything in the world, and that's basically it, man. I mean, that's it. They always talk about like your higher power and all that shit. I'm like, that's my higher power is my family. Yeah. But anyway, so we might.
That's what I wonder about too, because I know a lot of the whole 12-step thing has a lot of religious undertones. And like if you're not into that, it's like
and that's the other thing too. They're all at the end. At these meetings, you got to hold hands and pray, and I don't want to hold your hand. I don't want to fucking pray. Yeah. Where's that hand been, you fucking sicko? All right, so let's move on from sobriety and animal sex to the band right now. So those
drunken animal sex.
Drunken animal sex. Yeah. Well, I would hope so, man.
Hope the dog at least loosen them up a little bit. Like,
Jesus
here's a couple
Christ. You never know what's going to happen on this show. So Patient Zero is my guest right now. They just played last night at Candy's Bar in Highland, California, around the corner from where I'm at. They're going to be doing some shows out there. So listening to you guys, obviously, not obviously. Do you guys like labels? And let me preface that by saying, like, some bands come in here and they're just like, we're a punk rock band, we're a psychobilly band, we're just a rock and roll band. Do Do you guys care about labels? I mean, how do you guys promote your guys? Do you guys tell people like your psychobilly?
Yeah, we say we're psychobilly, and I try to keep at least the spirit of it. But I also don't want to sound like everybody else. I mean I love psychobilly. I love the old school stuff. I love the new school stuff. I like it all. But I just don't want to sound like everybody else, because there's a lot of bands out there that they always just play the first, fourth, fifth over and over and over, and every song you can just change out the lyrics and everything, and they're all pretty much the same. And I like that, but I really respect the bands that kind of push those boundaries, and that's what. I just don't want to sound like any other people.
Right.
More times than not, when somebody asks me what kind of band I'm in, I actually usually have to explain what psychobilly is.
Yeah,
no,
that's a good
point.
Psychobilly, what's it? I'm like, it's like if
With the
Elvis
big-ass
had a
violin.
punk band. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like what do you?
Yeah, so that giant cello thing.
That happens to you guys a lot, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
In this area, it's LA. That's the scene. That's the spot to be. We get promoted and booked out there more times than not. But out here to play a show locally for these kids,
I mean, I feel like people more than they did before know, at least heard of it, because it's it's not a very big genre, but there's people know some of the bands for like everybody knows who Tiger Army is, and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I always make a joke about that. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you'll know some of these stories. But like for me, right? So, when I'm at my day job, I was asking, and some kid was asking me, he's like, "Oh, when they find out, hey, you play in a band, right?" And I play the band I'm in now. It's called Something Ferocious. More rock and roll, more punk rock and roll. But even when I threw the word punk out there at some of these kids, and they were like, "Oh, like who?" And so these guys are in their 20s, and I'm just like, I'm trying to think like. I don't want to say Ramones or Black Flag or the Misfits. Mm-hmm. And I think I said, have you ever heard of Rancid? And the kid looked at me and I'm like, they were big in the 90s, we're on Saturday Night Live. And they were like, and I was like, wait a minute, you were born in the 90s, weren't you? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit. So you never know. I mean, one of the guests I had in here, I was promoting, I was playing a new Channel 3 record, and they were like, we've never heard of Channel 3. I'm like, how the fuck have you never heard of Channel 3? So, I don't know. I remember when I first got turned on to Tiger Army. I thought they were really cool, but maybe not. Maybe people don't know. So if you guys are listening, Tiger Army is a really cool band. Check them out. There you go.
They don't need a promotion.
Yeah.
they,
Do they still even play? I haven't seen them on a flyer in a
October
while.
Flame was released, or their announcement for their October Flame show and their October gig in LA at I don't remember what venue. Pre-sale went on a couple weeks ago. And they don't play very often.
Right.
And I saw them maybe 2 years
I've
ago
never
with a
seen
buddy of
them.
mine from work. And they're fucking great live.
Yeah.
Like, I like them. They're fucking cool. And it's just a really good fucking show. It was on the Carson Daly show. Or he has some show. It's a online talk show, I guess. He had this band called No Parents. And I thought they were really fucking good. They reminded me of like some crust punk. And TSOL opened for him, and I'd nery seen fucking TSOL, and TSOL is the shit, and I got to see them. Like, oh god damn, this is a great night. It was pretty fucking cool.
So TSL opened up for Tiger Army?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so here's the thing. Let me ask you guys this, because this has always been something that bothers me whenever I see shows like that, and even like the punk rock bowling that's going on right now, or some of these other festivals and stuff. A lot of festivals, I always trip out because I'm just old school, and I just have this mindset to where like. The band, I think, the ones that came first should be the headliner. And it trips me out that I see some of the bands that haven't been around, like, I don't know how to give you an example of that. Like, The Offspring will headline and the Descendants will open for them. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like I'm a huge Offspring fan or anything, but that trips me out. Like TSOL would open for Tiger Army. I mean, TSOL's been around a lot longer.
And at that same time, that show specifically, they were both coming off, I think, a record release. And TSOL has a new record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they do.
That was the same time that the Tiger Army one had came out. So I guess it just comes to their management and promotion. At
Well,
that
it also
time.
comes to like ticket sales too.
Yeah,
you know?
and it was.
I don't know.
I think that
TSL
show was
sells
geared
many tickets as
specifically
a-
to right.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
A headliner
you
Tiger
going-
Army show,
Yeah, you're going back to the business of it,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, age is one
Logistics.
thing, but like eventually, some bands just outgrow their bands, and you're gonna you're going to put the headliner or whoever can sell the most tickets. You know.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I'm just saying that for me though, right? Let's just say in Fantasyland, right? How about you? I'll throw that question out to you guys too. How would you guys? I don't know if I would feel comfortable having. Let's just say I got that famous, right? And I was on a bill and the Descendants were opening up for me. I would just be looking at the promoter like, you're fucking crazy. You know, this is the Descendants, you know?
Yeah.
They should be headlining. I wouldn't want them opening up for us. Plus, they probably...
Your idols,
Yeah.
yeah, opening up
Yeah.
for you.
Exactly,
like the tables
right?
reversed. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there's something's wrong here. Something's...
Not
Pinch me, I'm dreaming.
So, what do you guys think about that? We you know, what if Tiger Army opened up for you guys? Would that be weird as shit for you guys?
Be weird, I think.
A little bit?
It could be.
Yeah, they
I'd
can
be
open up
down.
for us, dude. Fuck
Yeah.
that means we made it.
Been on every pecking order on every bill. I think we just take whatever was thrown at us.
Yeah. Yeah. The way it just works now is like who's the best friends with the promoter.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
Depends on what show too. I mean, so a lot of these promoters now too make band sell tickets, which is absolutely fucking
That's,
dog shit.
that's something we'll never
yeah.
fucking
No.
do. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Good, thank
It
God.
kind of
man.
ruins the scene,
bullshit.
and I feel like people who do that like help that whole thing. Like it's just not good for the scene.
I'd rather spend the money
You
and
know.
gas to get to a fucking show than eat fucking tickets. Fuck.
Yeah, and then these promoters they make bands sell tickets, but then they're not spending any money, you know,
Shitty
promoting the
fucking
shows. They're
promoters.
not printing
Yes.
flyers. They're not doing any of the work. They're just expecting everybody else to do it.
I'm not going to take any
Like-
jabs, but one recently that we did, it was just a horrible
No, go ahead, dude. Fuck
fucking-
that shit.
It was a horrible fucking promotion and just almost.
Well, it wasn't. We never did ticket sales.
No, but it wasn't. We didn't have to sell tickets, but the fucking promotion of it. We
don't
played
think-
for the bands that were playing that night. It was
Yeah.
like 7
I
people.
don't think all the stools and chairs were even off the table.
No,
It
it
was
was
Yeah.
still flipped up. Like, oh, you'll get a percentage from the bar. And so I'm going to get 10% off of the fucking wings and the beer that I bought today. you.
Where was the show at?
I
that was,
What city? What city?
Corona.
Corona.
In Corona.
At some fucking plaza mall shit. They've got this little venue
Yeah.
bar thing, and it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like these promoters. They just try to. They try to do too many shows at once, and they don't really care about the shows, or at least like as they do more and more shows, they care less and less. And you know they don't promote anymore, and to them it just becomes like quantity. Like they're just trying to book as many places as they can, and they don't even care about the shows anymore. They're just trying to get a little bit of money from the place that they're booking at. So I mean, it gets annoying to work with some promoters sometimes, but I'm sure it gets annoying to work
Yeah,
with
that's
bands
the worst
too.
one we've had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to get hit up like a month later, oh, we've got something going on in Adelano at a soccer complex that needs live music. Do you guys want to do it? And like, what's going on? Oh, it's some like kids fucking soccer tournament. It's like, what the fuck do we want to play that for?
Did you guys really all get asked to play at a soccer tournament?
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's some event, but it was like a family thing. Like, I don't know if you want us to
Yeah.
fucking play for them.
And it's just like a lot of these promoters, they don't
Do
really
we get
care
to use the bounce
about,
house? Or-
Yeah, in the bounce house.
Yeah.
Well, these promoters, they don't really care about like that the band has to spend money. Like when we go somewhere, it has to be worth it for us to play. If,
Yeah.
we're not getting paid.
Work all
It's
fucking week to
3
spend
cars,
money.
gas to get there, all that equipment loading. It's work. It really is.
Joe has a bass amp with no wheels. so
Oh,
he
I
has
know
to
it sucks.
He has to
It's
plan
All the
horrible.
casters broke
You have a
up.
bass amp with no wheels?
Yeah,
He has
it's
to plan
horrible.
accordingly.
A fucking 15-inch Ampeg that has no. He carries it upside down because it's top heavy now. That there's no fucking wheels on it.
Well, the wheels they put on those things are horrible. They fall off. It's horrible.
Let me ask you this, Joe. How was it that you decided that you're going to play stand-up bass? I mean, out of all the instruments that kids grow up going, hey, man, I want to play guitar, I want to play drums, or I want to play bass.
Yeah.
You said stand-up bass. You know, like,
Purely out of necessity.
out of necessity?
So I've been a fan of psychobilly for a long time, and I always wanted to start a psychobilly band. But like you kind of need for that image, you kind of need an upright bass, and I've seen psychobilly bands that like they'll go up and not have an upright bass, and it breaks people's hearts.
Yeah.
They do not like it at all.
Psychobilly on a precision bass.
Yeah. So I started Patient Zero, and originally I played guitar, but I wanted an upright bass player, so I looked around everywhere for him, and there's not a lot out there. Finding a regular bass player is kind of hard. Finding an upright bass player,
yeah.
yeah. So we found one guy, and it just didn't really work out. And eventually, I was like, you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So I just bought one. I decided I'm gonna play it. I can guitarists are a dime a dozen. I can find a guitarist anywhere, but if I really want an upright bass, I'm just gonna have to learn it myself. And I picked it up and fell in love with the thing.
And how long ago was that?
Probably like 7 or 8 years now.
Still
Something like
on the
that.
same strings.
Yeah. Well, those upright bass strings, they last forever. Like you can buy used strings and stuff. Like it's worth it.
So Jay Moon on Facebook is saying what's up to you. And,
What's up, Jay?
What's up?
And
What's up, Gabriel?
Tyson's saying hello too.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Tyson the photographer.
From Pirate
Yeah.
Punks.
Oh,
IEPP.
So we're saying what's up to you guys. I'm a guest in
that's where
studio
we played
today.
That's where we played with Beecher.
Yeah,
Pirate Punks.
Yeah, this little venue out in like a little house venue out in San Bernardino.
a
It's
house.
really cool. It's a house. It is a
Fucking
house.
house in the hood.
But it's
House in the
badass.
Hood.
And it's always like, fuck, dude, like, damn, they have shows here. Like, I'm surprised fucking cops don't show up.
No,
But
cops
then
don't wanna
you
go
gotta
to that part
remember,
of town.
You get off of fucking the 210 and you get off on Del Rosa and go north like 2 blocks, and you're like in the thick of it. And nobody
Yeah.
gives a shit. It's
Dude, you
fucking
know,
rad.
seriously, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not lying. That's
This it's
That's
we
what
fucking pass
that-
it every fucking
It's
day.
the only place
like,
you could put on a punk show at 2 in the morning
Yeah,
and know that nobody's going to
exactly.
call the
Yeah,
cops.
yeah.
It's
It's like
you
none
see
of the neighbors
fools
are gonna
walking
call
up and down the
cops 'cause
street
they-
all
yeah.
night, like homies fucking just cruising by, like
Yeah, nobody who
nobody-
lives there
yeah.
wants cops around. Everybody's up to
grown
legal
men
shit,
on
you know?
BMX bikes.
you guys are the first band that have actually mentioned my hood and my freeway and street.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what literally that's where we
we're
all
from.
grew up, man.
You know, we're a
Trip
band
out.
of the area, man. Is our home. You know.
So where are you guys from? Are you guys all from the Inland Empire?
Redlands.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah,
Redlands, huh?
yeah,
Alright.
we say we're based out of Redlands. Like we all, I live in Beaumont. These guys, Highland and Redlands, but Redlands is kind of our home base.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And
that
so-
sounds good.
And so the CD that we were playing earlier, is that just a self-titled, just EP?
Yeah.
EP Zero. Is what
EP
it's called.
Zero.
Yeah.
Ah, I
You
like,
gotta do that
there.
name out there.
I like what you did there.
Hey.
Very fucking clever. Very
Yeah, so
clever.
we're really smart.
All right.
I are smart.
we played a couple songs right now for you guys, so we apologize. Our auxiliary chords cutting in and out a little bit, but you guys have some new music that you guys just recorded,
Yeah, we're
and
up
you
to
guys
7
have
songs now, I believe, recorded.
if you guys look at their Facebook page or Instagram, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook.
Of course you guys do. Of course.
Yeah, we're on
LinkedIn,
Spotify and everything too. So if you
Tumblr,
guys like our stuff,
Grindr.
check it out.
So here's how to
Grindr. Yeah.
here's how to find them. All right, because there's some other Patient
throw
Zero
that
bands.
picture.
So here for you two, look, they've got a sexy zombie nurse.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Lex.
Who did that for you, by the way?
Lexa Poveda? I think is her last name. Sorry.
So, logo artists from
Yeah.
Redlands, really good. There's a lot of cool like pop
cartoon
art and
illustration.
stuff like
She's
that.
fucking bad.
It's a great logo. I like it. You know, very,
It sticks
very
out.
professional.
It's looking at it, and we have that whatever file it is in Photoshop and flyers that have been made that have us on it. If it's not the Patient Zero, the font, and it's the nurse and the font together, it really sticks out, and I think it's really attractive, that thing there.
Yeah.
And we've got T-shirts, and it's just a black and white, and even still in black and white, it looks pretty fucking sick.
It does. You guys were talking about too earlier before we started the show that you guys were actually thinking about changing your name. Is that just because? Are you guys serious about that, or are you guys just joking around?
He brought it up to us the other night. We were
It's
standing
something
around,
we kind of toss around a little
yeah,
bit, you know.
we were standing around the fire all drunk at our buddy's house, and he's like, I was thinking about it and potentially doing a name change because of how many Patient Zeros there actually are. If you go, now that we're picking up more likes and followers or whatever on Facebook and Instagram, we pop up more often. But originally, it was like we're like 7 down from the top.
Yeah, like when we didn't have anything recorded or anything, there was no way to find us at
It's
all,
just
you
funny
know?
because we were talking about it, and Joe had sent a video. The three of us are in a group chat, and Joe sent a video from YouTube. He's like, apparently we're on fucking YouTube. We haven't released anything. We don't have a YouTube channel yet. We need to. But our voices from the new EP, Voices in My Head, I think it was Creatures, was released. Somebody took it and took the EP, the disc art, and put that on YouTube with the song playing behind it, and we never uploaded it. And I was like, what the fuck? I saw it at work, and I was looking at it, and I clicked the link because it said Patient Zero, and it just brought up a slew of different things that are tagged Patient Zero.
Yeah.
And there's fucking thousands of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie trailers for that one movie that either came out or is coming out, I don't know, and then just other bands, other people, this and that. And it's a hodgepodge, I guess.
But a name change is scary.
Featured
I know that
comedy.
you went through a name change, right?
Yeah, well, the reason why we did it though is because we again changed members, right? So I was in the Prostitute Marys for 7 years, and we went through bass players like toilet paper. So we rotated those guys
You still
around.
had to learn their names.
What's that?
I said at least you don't have to learn their names.
Oh, some
Ours
of
is actually the lead singer, so we kind of have to.
so they were some of them were bad, man. That was back in the day when we were still using Craigslist, and fuck, that was like who's who in mental illness. It was just like you'd never know who was showing up, and we're like, oh
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But then just shit. After being a band together for like 7 years, and I was trying to start we kept the band going, but when it was only me as the original singer, and the bass player who had only been in the band for like less than a year, and when we got the new guys into the band, the sound kind of evolved and wasn't glam punk anymore. It started becoming more rock and roll, and so we just decided, it's not the same band, so we changed the name. And in fact, that was the hardest part, and that's what I'm always joking around with the bands, is trying to come up with a name that somebody doesn't already have.
Yeah.
So we'd go online, and that's how I came up with Something Ferocious. It was just me joking to the drummer, I'm like, dude, it's got to be Something Ferocious. He's like, that's it. So I was like, we got lucky, and then we looked it up, and of course, there's nothing like that. But
Yeah.
trying to find a band, and then Patient Zero,
Our
I
band name must have one uppercase letter,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
symbol, one.
but the thing
Special
too,
character.
the problem with changing your band name, I always think, is that after you put in all that work and years and stuff like that, and it's almost like starting over, even if you're not.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
still got the songs. and
Well, see, that's the thing that's like kind of scary. That's why we're not sure if we're gonna for sure do it yet. But because it is scary. It's like it's this weird existential thing for a band.
And Joe being the founding member and still the only original member of the band, he had mentioned to me that after I joined in and we got more solid as a band, the three of us, and playing more often and doing shows and this and that, he's like, I think we're back or even surpassed where Patient Zero was.
Oh yeah, no, we've
when-
definitely surpassed.
when they were coming, when they were getting big, I
Yeah.
guess big again. And now, we're familiarized, I guess. Now people can see the logo and at least kind of know who we are, or maybe know the music. So it's,
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't be in our favor now, more of thinking of it, but it was just a drunken idea.
Yeah, that's something we talked about. The thing is like you have to weigh it against like how hard is it for people to like find our music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like this is how music works nowadays. You get your music out there and people can find you, and if they can't find you, then then
Exactly.
yeah.
So speaking of your music, you guys have some brand new stuff recorded.
Right.
How many songs do you guys end up recording?
We released 3 tracks, but we recorded 4. And we're going to record the 4th as a single within the next couple of months.
Or
possibly,
release it as a
potentially.
single. Yeah, we're not. I don't think we're gonna do like any like big album releases or anything. I think we're just gonna do EPs because that's just kind of how. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to do albums anymore in
That's our whole
today's
set
musical
list.
climate because it just doesn't work the same. Like it costs a lot of money, first of all, and nowadays you can just put out music anytime you want and get it all over the world like in an instant.
Joe did it from his phone.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot cheaper and more practical for small bands.
Well, I've
I
even
feel.
seen larger groups doing that, where
Yeah.
they'll just release out singles. Just
Yeah.
it's
That way we just
you're not
constantly
waiting
have
around for
something
full
coming out,
albums Anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of the Netflix mentality of just throw out something to
I
stream on, and people can just kind of feed off that, and they're not trying to labor away on a whole album. They just
Yeah.
taking
Well,
it
yeah.
snippet by snippet, and you just say, "Hey, here it is."
I think that and I've talked about that with my band too. I think it's a good idea to put out a single. That way you keep it fresh, because what I've seen is that some bands will, you spend all this time recording 10 songs and putting out an album, right? And then
And that's everything. at
yeah,
once.
and that's it.
Yeah,
And
it's
go-
like 2 years work or something,
yeah.
and
2 years, you have to wait two more years,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
something else comes
It's
out.
more attractive, I
Yeah,
think,
and
personally, because people
you
you can come
say-
to the shows and hear us play and hear the songs
Yeah.
live, but to have here's another 3 songs that are recorded.
Yeah,
in
we stay
studio
relevant,
quality.
Exactly, yeah.
It-
People-
and there's
it-
constantly new stuff coming out.
And you playing that EP, our first EP, I haven't listened to it in a while, and it's actually pretty fucking good. if I
That's
may
all right.
toot
That's all
my
right.
own horn here, beat, but it sounds really fucking good.
No, that's good, and it does sound really good. I liked it a lot, and I think as a musician, if you don't like your own music, then why the fuck are you playing?
No, exactly.
You
And I
should-
write
you
music
should-
for myself. I write music I want to listen to. That's I
And this is what comes out.
and this is what comes out. Yeah.
Shit slaps.
So speaking of which, B, you've got some of their music pulled up on Spotify.
Voices in My Head is the name of the second EP.
All right, so Voices in My Head. Is there a song you guys want to play first so everyone can
just
check it?
whatever's first on it should
It's
be
Doctor,
fine.
it's Creatures.
Creatures, yeah. Creatures
Oh
is
yeah,
first.
Creatures
yeah.
is good.
Creatures is a good song.
All right, B, you got that ready to go? All right, here you guys go. You listen to Black Lung Show.
The sun goes down behind the moon. It's time to be amongst the crowd. I see you staring back at me. I can smell that sweet seductive plasma in your veins, the kind that makes imagination go insane. Face your fate, enjoy your time. You and I will never die, forever young and endless time. Take the pain, give up the lie. We're all creatures of the night. Don't worry at all, it's just a fight. In my ears, the heartbeat echoes through my mind. That pulse of life that makes my lonely heart alive. Though my cursed soul burns for eternity, the passion that we share brings me serenity. Tell your fate, give up the lie. You and I will never die, forever young and endless time. Take the pain, give up the lie. We're all creatures of the night. Don't worry at all, it's just a fight. Take your fate, give up the lie. You and I will never die, forever young and endless time. Take the pain, give up the lie. We're all creatures of the night. Don't worry at all, it's just a fight. Take your fate, give up the lie. You and I will never die, forever young and endless time. Take the pain, give up the lie. We're all creatures of the night. Don't worry at all, it's just a fight.
And we're back. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on Chaotic Radio. My guests in studio are Patient Zero. That was Creatures from the brand new EP called Voices in My Head, which is available now all over the internet on Spotify and
Apple Music and I believe iTunes.
all right, there you go.
Google Play,
Same
everywhere. I believe.
Just Google that shit. You'll find it.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Well, you
We
might.
don't end up 17th on the list.
Yeah, you might find a whole lot of other Patient Zeros. But just keep looking for the sexy zombie nurse, and there you go.
Yeah.
See there.
We're
There you go.
plucking them off
we
one
got
at a
you-
time.
We got you. We got you guys in. So you guys were saying that you guys have this stuff available online only for right now, and yeah, it is expensive. You guys ever think you guys are gonna, besides the burn CDs, you guys are ever gonna put out like any hard copies for
Yeah.
CDs?
Yeah, eventually. I think that we're just waiting to have like more stuff so we can put it all on one thing and really just justify spending the money on it.
Yeah.
Or if
Because
we
we don't
can
want to put
remember to bring
like
the
6
merchandise to the
songs and you get something produced for 6 songs.
Yeah.
We'd want to wait till we get like 12 songs or something. And we're just trying to release like 3 songs every few months. Just try to keep new stuff coming out all the time.
Well, like I was saying too, it seems like 3-4 songs at a time. That's kind of what people's attention span
Yeah.
kind of likes nowadays. They don't want to be working through 2 sides of an album.
Yeah.
And, you just give it to them in little packets,
That's true.
essentially,
Yeah.
and then just say, "Hey, here it is." And then I honestly think that people are going to listen to more of the songs if they're only got 3 or 4 to work through. It's not a matter of
Yeah,
picking
you're not
favorites.
because
You're
like a
just
lot of times like you get to track 11 and you don't even know what the songs are anymore after track 9, and just get they it just gets more and more obscure.
yeah.
But
so
I like the releasing like music constantly.
cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are listening to Black Lung Show. Like I said, this is Patient Zero. That was Creatures from the brand new EP, Voices in My Head. How did you guys end up getting together? I'm always curious of that. Have you guys known each other for a while, or did you just kind of like reach out looking for an ad?
Well, I saw because these aren't original members, but when years ago I saw him Steven play with some other band, and
What band was that?
It was called The Great Late.
Yeah.
And we were kind of more of I'd say kind of eclectic rock group.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to say classic rock. That just sounds like you're, like you said, slapping a label on it. But,
Yeah.
those kind of tones and songwriting styles. So that was the main band that I was in for a while. And there were some other little side projects here and there. But nonetheless, I was the one playing rock in Redlands. So when they needed someone,
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember seeing you play and thinking like, man, I wish I had a guitarist like that. And then
Steven's a badass fucking guitar.
yeah, he's really good.
We actually opened
and
up
then-
for. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and then I saw him like we were looking for a new guy, and then I saw him at the bar one time.
Love at first sight.
And yeah, there was a
we'd
I
opened
was
up
his
for
Cassandra.
yeah.
we'd opened up for Coughing Cats actually back over in Banning at Station Tap House a few months ago, and where they were sitting in the bar, it's got like this little off room, and where they were sitting was close to their merch, so they couldn't see the stage really directly. I could see the drummer, and Steven, one of the songs, he's got a mean solo in it, and he's fucking getting it. And Vic, the guy, the front man of Coughing Cats, he jumped up and went out of his way to look around the corner. He's like, "What the fuck?"
I think that might, when you guys told me
that
about
shit was
that,
great. That was fucking cool.
when you told me about that, I think it was the last song we played. I think that was Creatures.
He was fucking, yeah, Steven was getting it. And I just kept looking over to see. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're fucking listening to us. And then Steven started shredding and he fucking jumped up and like fucking broke his neck to look around the fucking wall. It was fucking cool.
I love hearing stories like that. That's cool when your heroes check you out and be like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever nerd out when you guys get shows? I mean, or are you
Hell
guys,
yeah.
you guys
Secretly.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
secretly, you're not gonna let it be known. 'Cause I don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's times I'm driving home from the show. I'm still fucking fist pumping in the
So
car.
fucking
like,
hard.
Well, see,
right
like
now.
the psychobilly scene is a small scene, but Coughing Cats, like they're one of like the first psychobilly bands I ever really got into, so to play with them, is really cool. And then we played with other bands that I really like too, and it's always exciting. You get to feel like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. We've made it.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah,
we're not getting paid,
Yeah, I
but
was
we're
gonna-
fucking
Goddamn
No,
thing,
but it feels good.
right.
Fuck yeah, it does.
That was
Exactly.
the caveat.
I happened to get wrangled into the band offhand. I was drumming for these two guys that I had met a while back. They were acoustic two-piece called Second Impression. And I had been out of a band for some time now, and I just really wanted to play. Like, my drum set was just sitting there. I was like, hey, let's jam. And we did an open mic down in Redlands over at the Vault. And a friend of ours, Michael Hodge, I went to the open mic that next week or whatever, but I didn't go to play. I just went to go hang out. And he'd hit me up. He's like, you played drums. You were here last weekend, right? I was like, yeah. And he goes, So there's a psychobilly band in Redlands that's looking for a drummer, and the first thing I said to him as I looked over was like, "Since fucking when?" And he introduced me to our ex rhythm guitarist, and we took it from there. I met these guys, and the ball's been rolling. And I don't think we're gonna stop here anytime soon.
No, that's good. I mean, shit, you're talking to me right now, and I live in the area, and I didn't even know there were bands in Redlands. I mean, well, there's no venues out there for any. I mean, except you got the Vault, and I've done that a couple times.
I'm trying to change that.
Well, good for you. God bless you. I was going to ask you about that too. We'll have this conversation a couple of years from now if you guys are still around, and come in here and tell me how that went. I did a few psychobilly shows back in the day, but it was more like Monster Garage. I don't know if you guys ever remember that. That was a TV show where the guy had like a week to build a monster truck, and what was it, Jesse James, that guy?
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
To build a fucking truck out of a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
to make it do something.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Oh, let's see if this shit works.
Right?
Like, let's try it. It fucking blows up.
So I made the joke about doing that show because I had some promoter had found out that I was doing shows in the Inland Empire, and I said that's God bless you, dude. If you're gonna be booking shows, because that shit is not fun. I don't want any part of that crap anymore.
Yeah.
But in the early 2000s, somebody had found out, a promoter out in LA, and I actually did book a few psychobilly shows. I got, but I had a week to do it. That's why I called it Monster Garage. They're like, oh yeah, this band's on tour, and their tour manager flaked, and so we need to book a show in the Inland Empire. We heard you do them, and I'm like, yeah, all right. When's the show? And they're like, oh, next week. I'm like, cool. Who's the band? I'm like, Demented Argo. And I'm like, oh, I love that band, but let me make the flyers. Let me book all the opening acts. Let me get these guys paid. Let me get their writers. Let me get all that shit. I did them, and I did Mad Sin, and then after that it was no thanks. But I remember for me, because growing up, I've gotten, there are a lot of different genres of music that I listen to. This is mostly a punk rock show because that's mainly my favorite stuff. But I like rock and roll. I like rockabilly, psychobilly, ska. And I've gone through different phases in my life where I just start listening to something a little bit more than at a time. So I remember when I first discovered psychobilly and listening to Tiger Army and the Guana Bats, and of course the Necromantics. But I joke, or if you guys have been listening to the show for a while, I joke because back in the 80s, the way that, there was no internet. So the way that we found out about punk bands was like looking at old like Thrasher magazines. You'd look at the T-shirts and be like, oh, Corrosion, Conformity, Misfits, and all that kind of stuff. Or you had a friend, like my best friend who just passed away earlier this year. He's the one that got me into punk rock. Was there somebody? Did you guys have someone that? How did you guys? There's the question. How did you guys get introduced to the psychobilly scene? Because it's kind of it's its own thing.
Yeah, for me, I had a friend that they used to listen to Reverend Horton Heat. So that was like my first.
There you go.
That was my first introduction into it, and then I didn't know that it was like a whole genre. Like I knew about like rockabilly and stuff because my dad he always like listened to oldies, and that's what we listened to when we were kids. So I grew up listening to like Eddie Cochran and Gene Vincent and all those like all those rockabilly guys. So I knew what that was. But I heard Reverend Horton Heat, and I thought that was just kind of like some sort of like fast country or something like that. And then and eventually I ran into Tiger Army, and I thought it was just like punk, but I didn't really know that it was like a whole thing. It wasn't until I discovered like Necromantics that I started to realize like, oh, this is like a whole genre. This is like there's other bands that are like this.
Yeah.
And so and then that that's just how I kind of got into it. And I just started discovering more bands and everything, and fell in love with the genre, and then here we are.
Yeah, and for me, it was actually more a matter of actually starting to play with this group. That's because I just came always from playing blues and rock and everything, everything around guitar. So this was just, a different flavor of that. So
that must have.
Yeah.
Was that? Has it been like a? Is it weird for you, like listening to all these bands now that you've probably never heard before?
Well, no, I mean, I'm always listening to new music, so it's, I don't know, it's like we're saying, just another flavor. It's just another form of rock and blues and those kind of progression. So
essentially he loves music.
Yeah, exactly. But what I find is that with the psychobilly is I have to push myself to make more noise. I can't just sit back and strum chords. Like there's got to be a little more madness.
Yeah, the guitar is like always moving.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just like
got the magic
getting in that mindset that like if I'm not making noise in between other noises, I should probably be making more noises. It's like so, and especially too that we don't have a rhythm guitarist at the moment, so I'm kind of bounced between.
Yeah, you gotta feel double duty.
Yeah, so that's the main thing with the psychobilly is just pushing myself to make more noise and not just.
Yeah, you got to play. You got to play lead and you got to play rhythm. You got to sing and play bass.
Yeah,
you got to. Well, I wouldn't say you got it pretty easy, but you're just.
He's doing backup vocals too.
I
so
do backing
he's-
vocals.
So all right, so now you're doing backing vocals and you're drumming at the
the
same.
woes and ohs.
Yeah,
The woes and ohs.
oohs and ahs.
Oohs and ahs, yeah.
All
And
right.
the fucking Scooby Doo laughs at the end.
Yeah,
just talking shit pretty much behind Joe and have my levels just under him. I got introduced to psychobilly, Mad Sin, Necromantics, and Zombie Ghost. I can remember specifically back in high school. Punk rock back in middle school from a friend. Same idea. I got a buddy that passed away a few years back. And he introduced me to that when we were like 6th grade. And it was TSOL. Specifically, when I saw them with Tiger Army, I was fucking blown away to see them live. It was the coolest fucking thing. TSOL, DK, The Adolescents,
Okay.
Subhumans, the shit like that. And I had always been into punk, crust punk. I ended up getting into thrash a lot, crust punk, and then progressively into psychobilly. And was listening to it a lot more at work because Pandora. I had started using Pandora and whatnot when I was working years and years back at a job that I had, and I was essentially working in my own little shop and just play music all day. And stumbled upon Reverend Horton. He had his playlist or his radio on my Pandora, and like a week later, they played at Stinger's Bar in San Bernardino. And I'm like, oh, I'll get fucking tickets, dude. I went. Saw them, the Tone Slingers, the Dwarves were there. That was fucking cool.
Yeah.
The Tone Slingers, I don't know if they're still around, but that was one of my first live introductions to rockabilly, and that was like those guys all clean cut, button up shirts, Mexican dudes, and it was fucking sick. And then to see the Rev, like, it was pretty fucking bad. And just, I mean, it's that I think I found more attractive than anything else. And now I got a buddy of mine, this older cat, older cat. He's up in his 70s. This guy that I work with named Billy. He's really big into Motown, and was a big player at one point. He was a professional musician. He played for bands here and there, if they needed. And he asked me the same question as to how I got into it, and I was like, you know what, a lot of and not necessarily in psychobilly, but rockabilly, stuff that my mom can listen to. And if I could listen to music with my mom, like that's the fucking best thing ever. Like, and she likes it, so.
Oh, that's cool, man. No, that's actually one of the best answers I think anyone's ever said. I can listen to it with my mom. What does your mom think about your logo with the zombie chick with the upside down cross, though?
I don't think she's really looked at
My
it
mom
that
doesn't like
hard.
it.
Your mom doesn't like
No,
it?
not at all.
She's
She
very
doesn't-
religious.
She's very religious. The upside down cross, she does not.
So I'm just gonna go out on a limb.
Joe's
here.
mom thought SpaceX was Jesus coming.
What?
We were getting ready to leave for a show. Santa Fe Springs, I think, was a Diabolic event show. And SpaceX was launched.
That was the first one.
Oh, and,
I wasn't
the-
with you then. Yeah, but my mom thought it was like Jesus coming back.
The
When
fucking
SpaceX did their
launch.
satellite
when
launch.
it busts through the atmosphere, the colors changed over the sky and shit, like because it was launched out of L.A.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was
It
fucking
was
hilarious.
a sight to see, but his mom's, Jesus coming for you.
Did she say it like that, or did she say, "Oh,
It was-
I
It was
mijo"?
very like I told you so. Kind of like, oh, see, now you're
Yeah,
gonna
ves, cabrón.
All right.
Rock
told
me.
you. I told you.
Te dije, cabrón. Now you're gonna find. Now you're gonna see God.
Yeah.
My guests in studio today are Patient Zero. Thanks everyone for listening to the Black Lung Show. Hey B, can we play another? Well, let's do this. The whole, like I was saying earlier in the show, the whole point of this show is to introduce people to music, and so kind of going along in the same genre or the same category of introducing people to different music, right? Like what was one of the first bands? I'm going to play a song from a band that's actually one of my favorites. Who I don't know. Maybe I could have B look it up for me because I know the singer. I think he committed suicide. Fucking really sad. But I don't know if you guys are fans of the Kings of Nothing.
Oh yeah.
The Kings of Nothing. They're rockabilly. They're punk rock. They're a big band. They're really really cool. In fact, I want to play. What time do we got right now?
5:17.
Oh, we got fucking plenty of time. Let's play 2 back-to-back songs. I want to show you something, how versatile this band is, and that was one of the bands that I've always wanted to see live, wanted to open up for, and obviously interview here. But you know, you guys are in studio with me hanging out. Let's listen to some music together. First one I want to play is something a little bit faster. This is "Get Busy Living" by the Kings of Nothing. You're listening to Black Lung Show on Chaotic Radio.
I've been down and out. I've been feeling left out. My luck never seems to last. I feel lose what I got, which never seems to be a lot. I can't find a reason to get out of bed. Get busy dying. My life runs out real fast. Two times never seem to die. I was a thrown of a broken hearted fool. I've been kicked when I died. Fall down the hill and I broke my cry. But you'll never come tumbling down after me. Well, later, locked up the last train out. Rain from heaven that will kick me out. My friend is a bottle of Tennessee. Some say with running time. Get busy living or get busy dying. I can find a bully friend to do it with you. Are you lost in nothing's game? Playing someone else's game. Pick up your head and stop your cry. Get busy living or get busy dying. Get busy dying. I've been down and out. I've been feeling left out. My luck never seems to last. I'm just calling, let you know I can't wait till I get home. Sleep in a bed I call my own. Finally get off this telephone. I was just calling, let you know I'm just calling, let you know I'm kind of glad I'm not at home. Sleeping on the floor ain't so bad. Well, give my best regards to Dad. I just wanted to call and let you know well, another empty club at night, another show and another fight. We'll get on that bus cause we gotta make time, y'all. Call you tomorrow, we'll see you next time. Long for that life that she used to call home. Oh, the next city we'll have another telephone. Just close your eyes and hear your voice say I'm just calling, let you know problems for sophomore. I didn't have anyone else to call. Just one to call and let you know. Changed back at home. I know it's strange for me to telephone, but I'm feeling so damn depressed and all alone. So I guess when I get home, there'll be all these messages on my own telephone.
All right, we're back. And I'm also looking at my phone, too, for everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. I apologize. It must be weird watching a bunch of grown men listening to music. Right? Just all quiet. You're listening to it with us, but you're just watching us listen to music. I don't know. What could be more boring? Golf? I don't know.
I'm sure it's somebody's fetish.
Yeah, probably.
All right, like one guy was just like, "Oh yeah,
Fuck yeah,
yeah." And that guy's at the same AA meeting as the other motherfucker.
yeah."
Fucking creeps. Anyway, thanks for everybody tuning in. My guest, if you guys have been listening along, is Patient Zero. Really good rock and roll band. I'm gonna use a rock and roll moniker. You know, you can call it psychobilly. You can punk rock and roll, whatever you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's just rock and roll music, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, these guys have a brand new EP. Check it out. Look for the nurse with the upside down cross. I'm kidding. I don't want their parents to find out about that. But Patient Zero is the name of the band. They're on Spotify, and in fact, because we're running the show, it goes fast. I mean, we got about a little less than half an hour left. B, why don't we play another track from Patient Zero? That was, by the way, Kings of Nothing. That's one of my favorite bands. That's one of the first bands that I got introduced. They're not, again, it's the same thing when we're talking about genres. They're not really talking about psychobilly or punk rock or anything, because they kind of cover the gambit. And when you guys were talking, it just kind of reminded me of them,
Well, that's something that we want to start doing, is getting some more instrumentation in our stuff too, because Joe's quite the piano player, and I also play trumpet. So we have more swing instruments at our
I play
at our
sax
disposal.
too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
See, now that's what I liked about that too. I love the sax.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a saxophone player.
Yeah.
And I was in elementary school, and I was like, I want to play the saxophone, and the music teacher's like, let me see your teeth. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, your teeth are fucked up. You can't play the sax. Here's a violin. A true fucking story. I'm not even making this shit up.
Jesus.
Yeah. Fucking asshole.
No, growing up playing trumpet, every music festival I was ever at, the guest artist was always a sax player, and I just
Is that right?
grew to hate them.
Yeah.
I just like, oh god, it's just another guy.
Well, when I was in elementary school, that's when they let us pick an instrument we wanted to play, and I wanted to play sax.
Everybody.
Everybody did, but because everybody did, there was they had just too many sax players. So the music teacher lady, she told me that my hands were too small to play sax, that I had to play clarinet.
Wow.
So I played, and she said and then you can move. She just needed more clarinet players, but she's like, you can move on to sax. It's exactly the same. And so I played clarinet for a year. Then the next year I moved on to sax. I had to relearn it. It was nothing. It was not the same at all.
Right?
Flute.
It was like they lied to me.
Flute actually has the same fingerings as sax.
Yeah.
No one wants to play the fucking flute, though, man.
No.
That's how you get your ass kicked, you know?
Yeah.
What do you play in a band? I play the flute. Well, we're going to fuck you up right now.
Yeah. If you're not an Asian girl, like a little Asian girl, you're gonna get beat up for playing the flute.
Jethro Tull?
Yeah. Aqualung.
Oh, that's terrible. Let's not mention that band on the show again. Anyway, let's play some more Patient Zero for you guys. You're listening to Black Lung Show on Chaotic Radio. B, what do you got pulled up for us?
Solitaire.
There you go. Here's some Patient Zero. All right, we're back. That was Patient Zero. We're live on Chaotic Radio. Yep. We're good. We're good.
And that was us again.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You guys are...
That was also first EP, those 3 tracks that we just recently played. Except for Creatures. Creatures was on
The new one, yeah.
All right, and you guys killed on those woes, dude.
Actually, he recorded backing on his own for the first EP, so I didn't sing on the first.
Oh, that wasn't you? No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
No,
sing.
he's all whoa. I got the whoas here. That was terrible. I apologize.
I'm
I
on
totally.
the second one. But if we could take a moment to plug ourselves here, we
Feel
got
free, dude. This is
the 16th.
I know, right?
Hey, I mean, it's our show today. The 16th, 15th of June, Saturday, we're gonna be playing in Upland for Summer Day Street Festival. Steph from Beecher got us hooked onto that after we did St. Patrick's Day over at Candy's. The end of the month, we're going to be doing a showcase for Pigs Radio. We were on them about 6 months ago or so. We've gotten in July the 20th, we're going to be playing out in Tarzana for another Diabolic event show with a handful of psychobilly bands at a bowling alley called Corbin Bowl, which I think is fucking sick because I'm totally gonna buy a lane, dude. After our set, I'm gonna drink beer and suck at bowling. But that, to my knowledge, is all that we've got. I know we were into talks with somebody about potentially playing at Liam's Irish Pub on the 30th of next month. So that'd be.
They still have shows there?
Yeah, I guess.
I'll be damned.
All right.
Now that's some old school IE stuff right there. We used to always
It's
play
been a
there.
while.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard of
I've
anything.
seen-
going on
I've
there
seen
for a
plenty of
minute,
shows
but I've
there.
seen a handful of shows there myself. And as far as I know, that's everything that we've got. I don't think we have anything for August. I'm going to have some stuff coming up for my booking throughout the next few months. In July, I'm going to have a really big show for band Hoist the Colors again. They're going to be doing a record release party. They're going to do one in LA the night before and come out to Highland 27th of July. As for us, didn't we have something towards the end of the year going on like in November?
Oh, I'll have to look.
Yeah.
We have so much stuff going on.
We
It's
just
all
recently
kind of blurred
came
together.
off the tail end. Well, it's been like 2 months now, but we came off of 7 shows in 6 weeks, and that was
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think my calendar is like my most used app. Just looking at that thing.
7 shows in 6 weeks, and that was from my scheduled weekend off to my fucking following scheduled weekend off.
The other day, Gabe asked me, "Hey, what time do you get back from the show?"
Which
where were we?
we were
starts to
driving
blend
back.
together.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. He left. It's from we were leaving the Doll Hat. Fabian Grave put a show on, and we played out there. And we left about the same time. And he was gone. He took off. I had to stop and get gas. And I asked him the next day. I was like, "Oh, what time did you get home?" He's like, "Where?"
So speaking of booking agents, one of the things that to find out about bands, I like asking the guests on the show. Let's just pretend that I came out of retirement. This is all hypothetical, by the way. And I was booking a show, and I told you that I could book you guys with any band, alive or dead, that you could possibly. What would be your dream gig?
Oh man.
That's a difficult fucking.
It is. So I'll give you guys a second to think about that. Now that we've got the auxiliary cord fixed on the record player, I haven't had a chance to spin any vinyl on the show yet. I apologize. I always bring a stack in here, but we haven't had a chance to. From my own personal, well, it's all my collection. Shit, it's not like we've got a library or anything like that. But I just find here's something. Look, I'll tie it all back into page 0. So in Redlands, there's a great record store called Redlands Vinyl, right on Redlands Boulevard.
Yeah, it used to be Cat's Alley.
Yeah, exactly. The guy in there is super cool. I was helping out my buddies with First Off Records. If you go in there, you can find the Less Offs and you can find the Rundown Creeps and First Off Records CDs behind the counter. And I go in there all the time. I'm usually buying like some vinyl every week, and you never know what you can find in there. And I would appreciate it if you he's not listening, but if you would put some shit in some categories, man. I got to constantly go through there and look through the same thing. It's weird too. It's just like, you'll see a Stray Cats record, but the next one's like Manfred Mann and his Man Band, or that's hard to say. That's hard to fucking say. I didn't even practice that. But I was going through the other day. I was like, holy shit, dude, fucking GBH, man. So this is an old 1980s No Need to Panic vinyl from 87, I think. Yeah, this is from 1987, and not psychobilly. But this is a punk rock show, so we're gonna spin some GBH before we get out of here, and kind of at least in the horror topic, I guess. Transylvanian Perfume. This is GBH, and this is dedicated to Dutchy, my punk rock brother and DJ here at Chaotic Radio. You listen to the Black Lung Show.
Through a jungle great
we're back. That was the GBH. Finally got to spin some vinyl on today's show. I like doing that. Speaking of vinyl, got to do some self-promotion for a minute. While my guests in studio are still thinking about my very philosophical question about who they would play with.
Oh, shit.
Got it. Yeah, you forgot already? Come on, man. Come on. All right. See, that's what I'm saying. I was giving you guys some thinking music. You know, it's like Jeopardy, but with GBH.
Yeah.
I know that was a hard question. So, real quick for us, and when I say us, I mean my own personal band. I've been plugging this for a while now. The CDs are available now at SavageMagicRecords.com. This is the brand new compilation put out by Sal from Electric Frankenstein, A Fistful More of Rock and Roll, Volume 1. We're on this compilation with the Adolescents, our friends, the Flock Wolves, the Motherfuckers, which is still my favorite band name to say over the radio. And just really cool bands like Electric Frankenstein, the Backyard Babies, the Chuck Norris Experiment. The vinyl is supposed to be coming out too. This is my own personal one because it's a limited edition colored vinyl. But two album compilation with 26 bands on here. Nice. So yeah, thank you guys. It's the first time I've ever been on vinyl. After all these years, I finally have it. So if you guys want to go to SavageMagicRecords.com, you can get the CD, which has got 26 songs, and the vinyl. I think they did a special order on this. It's a limited edition of the colored vinyl, but the just the regular black vinyl should be available any day now if it's not available now. So my band Something Ferocious and our friends on this compilation. Also, if you guys have been listening to the show, you recently know that we have been teaming up a lot with Die Laughing Records, and we've been interviewing a lot of their bands, playing a lot of music. Dutchie on his show has been playing a lot of their bands. I've been interviewing. I just had Fang in last week. We interviewed the Hellflowers, which, by the way, they're going to be doing a CD release party at the Redwood Bar in Los Angeles, and they asked us to play, which I'm very humbled by because I also get to play with my heroes again. This will be the second time I get to open up for Channel 3. So we'll keep you posted here on the show. It's going to be the Hellflowers, Channel 3, my band Something Ferocious, and I apologize, I forgot the last band. But anyway, we got that coming up. So before we wrap up the show, let's get back to this. So pretending that I am a promoter again, I came out of retirement and said, I'll start with Joseph. You can play with any band. You can open up for anybody that you want to. What would be your dream gig?
I'm gonna go super stereotypical here and say old school Misfits, like original Misfits lineup. You know.
All right, no, that's fucking good.
And I guess like back together again, so it might be a possibility even.
sort of. I don't know.
Dick ass fucking Clint Danzig.
Well, the thing is that I recently saw us too. See, you and I have a lot in common, and I'm sure probably guys too. I'm a huge horror fan. My favorite band of all time is the Misfits. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. They're touring right now, but it says on the flyer original Misfits featuring Glenn Danzig and Jerry Only. But for some reason, they're leaving Doyle off, which Doyle wasn't the original guitar player anyway. I mean, he took over for Bobby Steele.
Yeah.
Dave Lombardo.
Really?
Yeah, that's who they were. Because I flew to Denver to go see them when they first got back together.
Nice.
It's Dave Lombardo from Slayer, formerly of Slayer. But yeah, last I heard he's playing drums for him. It's not Robo or Arthur, or Joey Image, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing, but yeah, I'm with you, dude. I would.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to play one of those like early shows of theirs. I mean, yeah. That's mine.
Okay,
as stereotypical as it is.
I'm trying to think of what sense to open for any band. Like, but I'm thinking about it way too much. Like, oh, what kind of music and this and that. But to be able to see a band to open for, fucking Led Zeppelin.
Okay,
that'd be sick. Just fucking watch them rip. Like, I know that's out of left field, but I think that'd be them or Skinner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
neat.
Okay.
For the sake of keeping it swing and bluesy,
you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. Just like your own personal hero.
I have to rein it in a bit so that my brain can comprehend the question because it's too open-ended for me. But I'd have to say something like, for the sake of it being swing and blues and everything, I think Cherry Pop and Daddies, that would be pretty damn cool.
All right.
Those guys are gritty and bluesy, but at the same time,
All right.
I don't know.
Well, cool. Well, there you go. There's your philosophical question for today. My guest in studio, as we're wrapping up the show and losing viewers very quickly on Facebook. Thanks everybody for watching. Patient Zero is my guest. Haven't played with you guys in a long time. Maybe we can change.
We'll
change
set
that.
something up, man.
Yeah,
Let's do
for
it.
sure. That'd be cool. And then also, if you're doing some shows right there in the Highland, I can send you some bands for sure. Some really cool bands. Like I said, over the years of playing and doing this show, I know a lot. So, if
Do we
you
have any
use
word
them
on
all-
that compilation that we were going to be on? Is there
I
any
haven't
development?
Heard anything of it since
I
it was mentioned.
talked to the guy. I think he's. I talked to Randy. He said that they're just trying to put a little money together
Okay.
for it. But yeah,
No, we have a compilation that we're going to probably end up on as well. So
yeah, hopefully, yeah.
And
Okay.
using that unreleased song would be what we'd give them.
All right, cool.
so
All right,
be out
guys.
there.
Do you guys want to do any more shout outs before the end of the show and say what's up to any of your friends,
Hey,
bands?
everybody. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting us.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
great.
definitely.
All right. Well, you guys have been listening to the Black Lung Show. B, man, thanks for coming in the studio. We'll see you guys next week. We got Ho Dagger from Mono Deluxe and Mink Daggers coming in studio. Again, that's something you want to check out. This is one of the best musicians that I've ever had a chance to see live, and I've seen a lot. So, anyway, B, let's see. You have let's just take us out with the last Patient Zero song. Is there one that we haven't played?
Two.
There's two.
Witch Doctor and Psycho.
Gonna put Psycho on?
Psycho. It's about aliens.
Psycho's about aliens?
Yeah.
That makes
it?
sense. All right. Thanks for listening to the Black Lung Show, everybody.
Oh, what a pride. I never felt this way until tonight. I mean, I felt it all along, just never this strong. I think something's wrong in the sky. Oh, what a sight. I see white light scissors in the night. Well, I feel my body rise, evil intentions in the sky, and no just flying by. I hope this is a dream of science fiction in my mind. It's happening again. This isn't on my friends. I see visions in my head. I see something in my mind. Well, I better check my brain. I'm going psycho. I think I'm hearing fucking voices in my head. Well, I know how it feels. I'm going psycho. Paranoia all the time. I hope this is a dream of science fiction on my mind. I'm going psycho. I think I'm hearing fucking voices in my head. Well, I know how it feels. I'm going psycho. Paranoia all the time. I hope this is a dream of science fiction in my mind. My suicide. I see it every time I close my eyes. My body's swaying side to side, but it's better than the lies I'd have to tell to stay alive. There was nothing in my arm, so I better check my thigh. I'm missing time. And Men in Black keep visiting my mind. When I should be sound asleep, enjoying my dream. Even inside there's no peace. I got nothing in my thigh, so I better check my spine. It's happening again. These things that are my friends. I see visions in my mind. I've got no metal in my spine, so I better check my brain. I'm going psycho. I think I'm hearing fucking voices in my head. Well, I know how it feels. I'm going psycho. Paranoia all the time. I hope this is a dream of science fiction on my mind. I'm going psycho. I think I'm hearing fucking voices in my head. Well, I know how it feels. I'm going psycho. Paranoia all the time. I hope this is a dream of science fiction in my mind. I'm going psycho. I'm going fucking boy. I'm going psycho.